Hello, fellow farmers, and Happy New Year to you. We finally made it to 2021. The first thing I want you to do in this video before we go any further is go down below in the comments and type up what your goals are for 2021. What your fitness goals are, your health goals are, your farming goals, your gardening goals, your life goals, whatever kind of goals you have, whatever things you're working on. Type them in the comments down below. Ignore my face, just scroll right down. My face is not worth looking at, trust me. Just scroll down in the comments and tell me what your goals are for this year. About anything in your life. Health, wealth, family, fitness, weight, farming, gardening, whatever. I want to know what's going on in your life. Okay? So, while you're hopefully typing, I'm going to share with you my fitness and health and farm fit journey and my farming experience and journey and gardening journey, which actually all started on this exact spot 20 years ago. Kind of cool that it's coming full circle. But anyways, my goals for 2021 actually started in July of 2020. I have this strange thing that I do that I tend to get in better shape and lose weight and get more fit and get healthier when most people are getting or tend to stereotypically get more unhealthy, get more unfit, or gain weight. In college, 15 years ago, most people gain the freshman 15. I actually lost 20 or 30 pounds my first year of going away to college. I was more active. I was exercising more. I was working out multiple times a week. I was running a few times a week. I was eating better, and I was just much healthier, the best shape I've ever been in my life. So 2020 brought another opportunity in my life where most people stereotypically were probably gaining weight and becoming more unhealthy. And most people, I'm sure the stereotype is that they were gaining the COVID-15. I have actually been on a weight loss, fitness, health journey of losing weight, and I can successfully say that as of this morning that I'm recording this on December 31st, 2020, I am down 30 to 31 pounds. It started in July of 2020 when I was gagging. My gag reflex was getting horrible if my heart rate got above 140 or 150. And I decided, this is it. This is ridiculous. I already have acid reflux that was bothering me. I already have gout, which was bothering me. But this is the straw to break the camel's back. My heart rate would get up to 140, 150 if I would lift my kids up in the car a few times, or go up and down the steps a few times, or go too quickly, or run, whatever. It would cause me to gag or sometimes vomit. That was ridiculous. I decided enough is enough. It's time to get in better shape. Time for this dad bod to get a little bit less dad bodish. So I took the money that I earned from selling chickens, and I bought a road bike. I bought a new to me road bike. It's 17 years old, and I started riding it the week before we went on vacation. We went to the beach in a house, so it was just our family, and we went to the beach for the day, and then while the kids were napping, I would go for a 7 to 27 mile bike ride. And at this point, I was at 249 pounds, the heaviest I have ever been. And my goal was to just ride further and further. And the other thing was that I did was that I know myself, and this is what I think is the key to health and fitness and just lifelong, is to know yourself and to know your body. And I know that my body does best and I will be healthiest when I am active. I need to be active first, and then my diet will follow. So I started being more active. I started riding my bike about 5 or 6 days a week, sometimes at minimum 3 to 4 times a week. Usually during, like I said, during the kids' nap time or at nighttime when the kids went to bed. Obviously, I was all fully lit up for safety purposes. So by being more active caused me to fall asleep easier and faster at night, giving me more sleep and more rest, which is good for everybody also. Which made it easier for me to cut out my midnight snacking, my nighttime meals, which was the key for me to successfully intermittent fast, which I don't recommend you intermittent fast unless you talk to your doctor first. But for my body, it was a good thing. I can recommend to anyone out there, stop eating late at nighttime, okay? That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest diet change that I've made in the past 5 months. It's the biggest diet change that I've made. Other than that, not really. And obviously, since it's intermittent fasting, I do fast and I break my fast at noon every day. So my eating period is from 12 to 8, which is the kind of the normal eating window for people that are doing intermittent fasting. And I have tried intermittent fasting in years past, but I would eat late at night and then I would just wait to break my fast later in the day, like 3 or 4 p.m. sometimes. And intermittent fasting is so easy for me in the spring, summer, and early fall when it's warm. And I'm not trying to eat for comfort or eat for warmth or eat out of boredom, but I'm busy active doing things. And it's harder and more difficult in the fall and winter when there's less daylight, as you can see right here, and when you're trying to stay warm, or when you're just bored because you're sitting in the house. But this time, I figured out the key was don't eat late at night. And I can recommend, just from my personal experience, don't eat late at night. It's so bad for so many reasons. It made my acid reflux so much worse. Ever since I've stopped eating late at night, my acid reflux has happened a total of, I would say, 1 time per month in the past 5 months, which has been awesome. I haven't had the acid come up, and I'm not gonna go into detail. It's just been awesome. It's been so wonderful to be able to not be interrupted by acid reflux at night. My heartburn has gotten better. At about a month or 2 into my fitness and weight loss journey, my gag reflex got a lot more reasonable, and I stopped gagging every time my heart rate would get up. It was a lot more difficult for my heart rate to get up that high that easily. And once it was there, I didn't gag or throw up. So that was awesome. I also do have gout. I am finally at the medication level for that. That is finally working. I do sometimes still get the occasional flare-up with that, but when I do get the flare-up, it's not as bad and it doesn't last as long. And I found that the key thing is to stay hydrated, which I can recommend it for everybody. Drink your water. It's in the water. Drink your water, and also take my medicine, which I don't do all the time perfectly. Most 6 out of 7 nights of the week, I take my medicine. And so that has really helped to make it so that I can actually be and stay active. It was super frustrating every time I would get to be active in the past, in years past. I would have a gout flare-up, and then I couldn't move, and then all my progress was just ruined. But this time it was finally staying away, and I was able to stay active and get more sleep and stop eating at nighttime and just break my fast at noon. So those have been my only really big health changes: is no more eating at night, fasting until noon-ish or sometimes later, and riding my bike. And as it started cooling off, like September, October, I cut it back to 3 or 4 nights a week that I would ride up to 20 or 30 miles at a time. And my goal was to ride this thing called the Virginia Capitol Trail, which some of you in the area or in Richmond area or Virginia know. It's a 52-mile trail from Richmond to Jamestown, going through the 3 capitals of Virginia historically. So that was my goal that I was working towards. I planned to ride on election day, but that didn't really happen very well. But I will definitely do that this year. I'm saying it on camera. I am putting it out there. It will definitely happen this year. After October, I started getting busier with working on stuff around the farm, in the backyard. And so that kind of took backseat. Also, it got cold to the point that riding your bike at, 12 miles an hour or so on average in the 40s or 50s is really cold. So the bike riding was definitely cut back to, I haven't ridden since October. So that, and at that point I was worried that my fitness and my weight loss was going to stop, or possibly I was going to start gaining weight back. So I didn't get on the scales for 2 months, and it's just out of fear of that they would show me or say what I didn't want to see. And I got on the scales again the week before Thanksgiving, and I was shocked that I was actually continuing to lose weight. Not as quickly as I was when I was riding my bike, but still it was going in the right direction. When I was riding my bike, I was easily losing 1 to 2 pounds per week, with just intermittent fasting and not eating at nighttime. It is about a half a pound to a pound a week of weight loss. I don't think it's really weight loss. I think it's my body getting to the weight that it should be, is what it really is, because I shouldn't be eating at nighttime. So that's my weight loss and fitness goals. So my farming and gardening goals, which is the reason I bring you to this spot right here that you see where there's a well over there. There's a tree right there. So pretty much from the edge of the tree to about right here, where this yellow corn husk is where my farming and gardening experience all started about 15 years ago. My parents and I decided to start a garden, so I rototilled it. This was before YouTube, so I didn't know about the whole no-till method. So spent an entire day tilling this ground up, and then kind of got sidetracked and distracted and never ended up planting anything. That was my first gardening fail, but definitely not my last. So this turned out to be nothing but churned up clay, and then it eventually got compacted by the rain, and then nothing. This farm, this is the larger farm of the Dorrell Creek Farms. This is my parents' property. This is the main part of it. Let me use my hand here. The main part of it, as you can see, the light brown area is, you can see the tractors in the background, is tilled or is farmed by a sharecropper using conventional farming. Most years he plants soybeans. This year he actually planted corn, and that pays for the taxes on the land. This pasture over here is what we referred to as, well, first off, the horses were there at one point. They were in this shed right here, and then this second shed over here is what we referred to as the boys' pasture, where the male alpacas stayed when we used to raise alpacas. And that actually was what paid for my college, by the way. This bigger barn right here was the girls' barn. That was where the female alpacas and the mothers and their babies, their crias, stayed. And so that all this pasture right here was for that. And then there's the house, and then there's the backyard, and that's actually where the chickens and ducks and geese are that you'll see on my Instagram a lot. And then we're back to the garden area. So that's a full 360 tour of my farming and gardening history, I guess you would say. So we're on the spot where my farming and gardening all began 15, 17 years ago. Sorry, right here. So my farming and gardening goals for 2021 are, first off, to actually have a successful garden, to start it as early as I possibly can, possibly build a greenhouse or poly low tunnel or one of those things, and extend my growing season to be able to start plants outside earlier. I'm in zone 7A, 7B, right on the border of it. So it's kind of depends on the weather that year as to what zone I'm in, kind of. And so my goal is to actually extend that growing season, actually start planting vegetables as early as I possibly can in hopefully a DIY greenhouse with as much stuff as what I already have to keep the price as low as possible, so that's not as much money going out in the beginning especially. And then to have a successful vegetable garden and to provide food for my family, friends, and possibly sell some that will help to support and pay for the expenses that I have put into the vegetable garden, which hopefully will be as low as possible. So that is my biggest goal for this year, because last year I focused on the animals so much, the chickens, quail, and rabbits, that gardening took a backseat like crazy. All that actually survived was kale and some carrots that I planted in August. The kale I planted in March or April, and it's still kicking now. So that's my gardening goal for 2021. Also, this is I don't know where, if my dad will plant some of the garden here, or more than likely, I think in years past, he's tried to have a garden in the backyard, back along this fence right here. He's tried that. I don't know if he'll do that, or if he will let me spin around slowly so that you're not getting seasick here. 3 or 4 years ago, we actually planted some tomatoes for the most part, and other vegetables just on the inside of this pasture right here. And that was, of course, once again, another failure, but not the last. So my dad will also be planting a garden here. They have chickens as well, and ducks and geese, and horses are actually in the big barn right here. There are 2 horses in the barn that are my mom's. I'm not a horse person, sorry if I offend you. I just that's not my style. But so goals are, first off, an experiment for suburban micro farming, urban farming, whatever you want to call it, at my house, at my farm, with continuing with the chickens, quail, and rabbits, planting a, as early as possible, extended season, no-till, clean, I guess you would say more than organic, because I'm not using anything. I'm not going to use any kind of chemicals at all. Nothing but chicken manure, quail manure, rabbit manure. That's the only kind of additives I plan on adding to the soil. Cardboard, that's it. Those are the only things I plan on using. So no-till, hopefully a market garden as much as possible, intercropping, DIY for as cheap as possible, greenhouse and low tunnel, or whatever you want to call it. It's not a hoop house, but yeah, and then just actually grow more, because also in the county I live in, we are like known for, in fact, there's a movie, a Lifetime movie. Here's my man card for bringing up Lifetime. A Lifetime movie that came out probably 10 years ago that was actually filmed and recorded in my county, and they made a reference to it. And they said, well, we are in the tomato capital of the universe. And they were combining 2 things that our county is known for. One is tomatoes. In my county, if you have a vegetable garden and you're not growing tomatoes, you are excommunicated, you're fined, imprisoned, and shunned publicly. No, just kidding. But for real though, in my county, we have a local paper, and this is one of my random bucket list goals to get at some point in my life, and I'm getting all giddy just thinking about it. But in this paper, they put a picture, I don't know if they still do, but a picture of the first tomato of the year in our county. And that's one of my life goals. That's one of my life goals, is to be in the local paper for the first tomato of the year. Like, I'm getting just all, like, that would be bigger than 100,000 subscribers. That would be huge, to be the first tomato of the year. Like, I don't know if you can see, I'm getting teary. I'm getting so like that would be so cool. I'm getting all stretchy and stuff. I'm getting so excited just thinking about that. It'd be so cool. But that if I could do that, that's how big tomatoes are in my county. So obviously tomatoes, intercropping with other stuff under the tomatoes and the greens, and hopefully canning and preserving as many of them for as long as I possibly can, and to be eating backyard fresh, garden fresh vegetables for as long as I possibly can into the season, and hopefully growing well into fall and into the early winter next year is my gardening goals. My farming goals, just continue to improve things and make things more efficient systems for the chickens, quail, and rabbits. And possibly my dad and I are looking into getting hair sheep and raising them for meat, probably in this pasture. I think it's about 11 acres or so over here. And then I think my dad plans on brooding some chicks and some chickens over in this shed right here, turn that into a permanent brooder and raising meat chickens like he did last year. He actually raised meat chickens in his front yard right here last year. So probably going to raise some, he plans to raise more meat chickens again and brood them over here in the shed, and then possibly hair sheep in the spring. That's a maybe, and probably in this pasture right here. But he does definitely want to and does definitely plan to grow a no-till garden, providing fresh veggies for our family for as long as possible, and possibly selling some to help to supplement the cost. So I think that pretty much covers all of my goals. Now, as for Farmer Fit, I can tell you that one of the things that has also helped me on this fitness and weight loss and health journey is by being outside so much, by walking around, by carrying things, by being farmer fit, whatever the term is. That has helped me to not be sitting inside, to not be bored eating, to continue to improve my health. And it has been much easier so that the food I do eat, which isn't always the healthiest, like today I had Taco Bell for lunch. I love Taco Bell. I know they're technically owned by Monsanto, which I feel horrible about. And my other weakness, I'll be honest, I'll admit right here, my other weakness is Mountain Dew. I love Mountain Dew. I know I should get rid of it. It has horrible sugar. If I cut out Mountain Dew, it's another quick 11 pounds lost in like 2 or 3 weeks, but I just love it so much. I love Taco Bell. So Taco Bell's owned by Pepsi. Pepsi's owned by Monsanto, and I know that they're horrible, but I love it. I love Taco Bell. I love Mountain Dew. But anyways, I digress. By being outside, by being more active, it makes the food that I do eat is used into fuel, and then I don't gain the weight. So get outside, go be more active. Don't eat at night. Until next time, thank you for stopping by, and be nice to each other.